Imagine pulling into your dream suburb, only to have the self-appointed queen of conformity declare war on a simple ramp for your ailing dad, because heaven forbid accessibility ruins the aesthetic. But when she dials 911 in a fit of righteous fury, she's clueless that the violator she's busting is the very state official who oversees her petty empire. Buckle up, folks, because this tale of HOA hell flips from infuriating absurdity to sweet, ironic justice that'll have you cheering through gritted teeth. The sun baked down on Willow Creek Estates like it was auditioning for a role in a bad real estate ad. Perfect lawns, identical mailboxes, and that suffocating vibe where every blade of grass knew its place or else. I'd moved here 3 months back after Mom's stroke, left her needing a ground floor setup and a ramp to reclaim some shred of independence. The brochure sold it as serene community living, but really, it was a pressure cooker of nosy neighbors and rules thicker than a phone book from the 90s. I kept my head down at first, ignoring the whispers that painted me as the troublemaker who didn't fit the vibe. Rumors started by none other than Karen Whitaker, the HOA president who'd crowned herself guardian of all things beige and boring. She patrolled in her pristine SUV, vest gleaming like a badge of misplaced honor, preaching about community standards, while fining folks for bird feeders that were one shade off approved ecru. Me? I was just the quiet guy fixing up the house. But inside, I was clocking every ridiculous edict, biding my time like a chess master watching a toddler knock over pieces. That Saturday morning, the air hummed with synchronized sprinklers, and I was out front hammering the final nails into Mom's ramp, a sturdy oak number that screamed practicality over prettiness. Coffee mug balanced on the rail, drill buzzing like a contented bee. I pictured Mom wheeling out to feel the breeze without me hovering like a helicopter sun. Blinds twitched across the street. The neighborhood watch was in full spy mode, probably texting in their group chat about the eyesore invading their perfect panorama. Then came the screech of tires, Karen's SUV skidding to a halt like she'd spotted a felony in progress. She hopped out, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other, her face a mask of feigned politeness twisted into something feral. "Good morning," or should I say, "violation in progress?" she chirped, voice dripping with that fake sweet venom reserved for HOA enforcers. I wiped sweat from my brow, keeping my tone even. "Morning, Karen. It's just a ramp for my mom. She had a stroke. Needs easy access. She didn't miss a beat. Snapping pics like a paparazzo at a scandal. Accessibility is admirable, but not at the expense of our aesthetic guidelines." Page 23. Section B. All exterior modifications require pre-approval. This monstrosity disrupts the visual harmony. I bit back a laugh. Visual harmony? The ramp matched the house trim better than her overbleached highlights matched her roots. But I played nice. Happy to submit forms if it helps. Her eyes narrowed, smelling resistance. Forms? Oh, honey, it's too late for that. You're in violation now. And just like that, the clipboard came out, scribbling furiously as if my ramp were a gateway drug to anarchy. By afternoon, a neon yellow notice slapped on my door like a scarlet letter. Unauthorized structure. Remove immediately or face daily fines. Mom wheeled up, peering at it with a frown. What's this nonsense? I thought suburbs were for relaxing. I forced a grin. Just HOA drama, Mom. They'll tire themselves out. But inside, the rumors kicked into gear. Neighbors whispering I was defiant, trouble from the city, even probably hiding something shady. Karen fueled it at the next block party. All smiles and sympathy. It's sad, really. Some people just don't understand community spirit. I overheard it from my porch, sipping tea, noting how her spirit meant bullying folks into submission. That night, I fired up my laptop, not for Netflix, but to dig. As deputy director at the State Housing Oversight Bureau, I knew HOA tyrants like her thrived on unchecked power. A quick search on her license pulled up red flags, prior complaints for overzealous enforcement. I smiled in the dark. Patience. I reminded myself. Let her dig her own grave. The notices snowballed like bad debt in a recession. Tuesday, continued non-compliance, $75 daily fine. Karen delivered it personally, knocking like she owned the deed. I see the ramp's still up. Pity. We could avoid all this if you just comply. Her tone was all maternal concern, but her eyes gleamed with that power trip glow. It's for mom's mobility, I replied calmly. Medical docs available if needed. She waved it off. Rules don't bend for sob stories. If we let one ramp slide, next it'll be garish gazebos everywhere. I chuckled inwardly. Garish? The ramp was plainer than her personality. But the neighborhood chatter amped up. He's arrogant, ignoring the board like that. Folks who'd waved hello now crossed the street. Karen's smear campaign turning me into the pariah. Mom noticed, her voice shaky over dinner. Maybe tear it down? I don't want you isolated because of me. I squeezed her hand. Nah, this is about more than wood. It's about not letting busybodies win. By Friday, 3 more envelopes piled up, each with escalating threats. Escalation to lean proceedings. Karen's SUV cruised by daily, slow as a shark scenting blood. One evening, she cornered me at the mailbox. Pay up, or we'll report you to state authorities. Think of your poor mother. Eviction notices aren't pretty. I met her gaze, unflinching. State authorities. Huh? Bold move. She smirked, mistaking my calm for defeat. Order must be maintained. It's for the greater good. Oh, the irony, her greater good, patting her ego while squeezing vulnerable folks dry. Weeks blurred into a barrage of bureaucratic BS. Fines hit $1,200. Invoices citing phantom sections of the covenants. Karen upped the ante, rallying neighbors at an emergency meeting where she painted me as the villain. This defiance threatens our property values. He's spreading discord. Laughter bubbled in my chest hearing the echoes. Discord from a ramp? But it stung when Mom's old friend stopped visiting, muttering about not getting involved. I documented everything. Photos, scans, a spreadsheet tracking her escalating absurdity. Late nights. I cross-referenced her past gigs. Elderly couples fined for wrong shade of mulch. A vet dinged for a flagpole 1 inch too tall. Patterns emerged. Fines spiking before her quarterly reports. Revenue fluffing her management success. I phoned ex-residents anonymously. Karen? Oh. She fined us $400 for fake grass being too realistic, said it mocked natural lawns. One laughed bitterly. Another threatened lien over holiday lights staying up a day late. We moved out. Couldn't take the pettiness. Mom caught me at 3 a.m., laptop glowing. You're fighting ghosts, son. I shook my head. Not ghosts, goblins with clipboards. And I've got the silver bullet. Her report to state threat was gold. Little did she know. I ran that division. But I waited, letting her overplay her hand, her lopsided logic turning comical. One notice claimed the ramp encouraged loitering, as if wheelchairs were gang symbols. I filed my own quiet complaint, triggering an audit that would expose her house of cards. Tensions boiled over one crisp morning when sirens wailed. Cops, courtesy of Karen. She stood triumphant in my driveway, pointing at the ramp like it had mugged her. Officer, arrest him. He's flouting HOA code, endangering community standards. The cop scratched his head, eyeing the ramp. Ma'am, this is civil, not criminal. No crime here. But Karen doubled down, voice shrill. It's defiance. He refuses to submit. I stepped out, hands up in mock surrender. Officer, it's for my disabled mom. Happy to show permits. He nodded, but Karen fumed. Permits? We are the authority here. The cop sighed. HOAs aren't law. Lady. Back off. As he drove off, she turned to me, red-faced. This isn't over. I'll escalate to the state board. Your kind always thinks rules don't apply. I smiled serenely. My kind? Careful, Karen. Assumptions bite back. Rumors exploded. He called the cops on her. Twisted tales made me the aggressor. Neighbors shunning us like lepers. Mom teared up. Why fight? Just pay. But my wife, Lisa, who'd been my rock, chimed in, because bullies like her thrive on silence. Show 'em the mirror. That night, I compiled the dossier, her fake fees, harassment logs, and submitted it officially. The audit launched quietly, but Karen sensed blood, ramping up patrols, even photographing our trash bins for improper sorting. Her desperation was hilarious. One email blast warned of subversive elements undermining our harmonious haven. Harmonious? More like harmonious dictatorship. The hammer fell in a sterile conference room at the State Oversight Board, where Karen marched in like a martyr, folder bulging with evidence of my harassment. She didn't know I was the presiding director, Bob Harlan, the violator she'd tormented. Her face paled when she saw me at the head. You? This is a setup. The panel chair cleared his throat. Miss Whitaker, you're here for 19 counts of unauthorized fines across associations. Care to explain? Slides flashed, her emails boasting easy revenue from pushovers, complaints from seniors she'd bled dry. She stammered, It's standard practice. Communities need order. A board member smirked. Order, or your bonus padding. These fees lack board approval. Pure coercion. Karen's facade cracked, her voice whiny. But property values, aesthetics, without rules. Chaos. I leaned in, voice steady. Rules without reason are tyranny. Karen. You find a widow for excessive flower brightness, said it clashed with the palette. That's not order. That's obsession. Evidence piled. Altered docs. Duplicate bills. She clutched her clipboard like a lifeline. I was protecting the community. The chair. From what? Kindness? Your license is suspended, retraining mandatory. Restitution owed. She deflated, mumbling, I just wanted respect. I replied softly, respect's earned, not extorted. As she slunk out, the room exhaled justice served, with a side of schadenfreude. Outside, Lisa hugged me. She learned the hard way. Mom, wheeling freely. About time someone clipped her wings. Months later, Willow Creek breathed easy. No more fear patrols. A new board focused on actual issues like potholes over paint shades. Mom hosted barbecues on the ramp. Neighbors laughing over Karen-era jokes. Remember when flags had to be exactly 45 degrees? I got promoted for exemplary oversight, but the Real win was peace without permission slips. Karen, spotted teaching ethics workshops. her bio touting lessons from the front lines. I attended one anonymously. She preached humility, I's wiser. Power corrupts when unchecked, she admitted. We nodded post-class. Learned that the hard way? Quipped. She smiled ruefully. Thanks to a ramp that wouldn't budge. Back home, the neighborhood pulsed with life, kids biking freely, no one finding joy. The ramp stood as a beacon, string lights twinkling like winks at absurdity overcome. Would you have silently complied with absurd HOA rules, or fought back knowing it might expose a tyrant's hypocrisy? Tell me, who's the real villain in a system that rewards control over compassion?